From the Daily Mail, Ilhan Omar hit with ethics complaint over report questioning whether she committed tax fraud and married her brother to skirt immigration law. But the biggest, most important bit of information here is that there is at least circumstantial evidence Ilhan Omar committed perjury. We can throw all the brother marriage stuff aside. The bigger issue here is whether or not social media posts are real. Ilhan Omar, according to the story, signed paperwork, I believe, saying that she hadn't seen her husband, Ahmed Elmi, since 2011, had no contact with him. However, they purport a photo on Instagram from 2015 shows them together. Now, the reason I say purport is because the content has all been deleted. But I believe that it's likely real. I don't think anyone made a fake photo of Ilhan Omar. It's just not there anymore. I believe, I'm not an investigator, I'm not law enforcement, but it sounds like there should be enough here for some kind of investigation. I want to add, all of the conversation about Ilhan Omar marrying her brother has made this hard to actually investigate. And I always warn people to like, you've got to hold things back and take things one step at a time. You know, and I'll give you like an analogy. I always find it funny when there's like some TV show, right? And let's say like a monster appears. And it's like a horror movie, and they'll call the police and be like, there's a vampire in my house. Yeah, like that would never work. What you need to say is, someone broke into my house. Then they'll come and investigate, and they'll find out it's actually really crazy, right? The point I'm trying to make is, while there may be evidence to suggest she married her brother to skirt immigration laws, sure, we don't need to go there yet. What we have here is actual circumstantial evidence she may have committed perjury. Start from there. And if that's all you get, well, that's at least that is palatable to any sane, rational person. What ends up happening is you get a lot of people who dig into conspiracies. They may find something real, but it sounds nuts, so no one listens. But let's read the story and see exactly what's going on. This is from Judicial Watch. I believe Tom Fitton is his name. I could be getting it wrong. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address, but of course you get the drill. Share this video if you think it's important, because YouTube deranks independent commentary. That means if you think what I'm talking about matters and you like what I do, share it to help spread the word. Daily Mail reports Judicial Watch, a conservative activist group, filed an ethics complaint against Representative Ilhan Omar for accusations that she married her brother to commit immigration fraud, among other crimes. Now, I do want to stress, I believe the report actually calls them, they call themselves a nonpartisan group, but conservative, I think, may make sense. I always try to be wary about how people try and frame other people as a means to try and create a division. It says, a new report following a 3-year investigation alleged that Omar married her biological brother, Ahmed Nur Said Elmi, in 2009 to benefit in some fraudulent way from the marriage. Now, for those that are not familiar, the general theory is that it's like 10 years for a sibling to get a visa. It's like 3 for a husband. So this was a way for him to get to the U.S. quickly and something like that. Now, according to an updated investigation, forgive me for the people who are doing the investigation, I'm forgetting your names, and I don't mean to do this intentionally. But what they're now saying is that they are biological siblings. And when they fled Somalia, they went to her brother went to the UK and she went to the US, and she adopted the name of the family she was with. But let's read on. They say Omar is a Somali American immigrant who fled Africa for the US with her family when she was a young girl. She became a naturalized US citizen when she was 17. The report alleges that her second husband, Elmi, who she supposedly married when she was still married to her first husband, is actually her brother. Now, there's really important considerations here. You're going to see the left say she married her brother is a ridiculous smear. And it does sound ridiculous. It absolutely does. And that's why I warn, don't start there. We do have a few things that have to be brought up, because this is true. This is from the Star Tribune, a liberal paper. They said, and I'm going to try and just paraphrase and then we'll go through the report. She was living with her cultural husband. I believe they weren't legally married when she married. Actually, let me try and just paraphrase this much more simply. At some point, all three, her ex and her now current husband and her ex-husband, they all shared the same address. So maybe it's just a paperwork thing, fine. The interesting thing, though, is that she was culturally married to one guy and legally married to another. The whole thing sounds suspect. Why not legally marry the guy you actually had kids with? But more importantly are the social media posts. So let's jump down. They say the evidence is overwhelming. Rep. Omar may have violated the law and House rules. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton wrote in a letter to the Office of Congressional Ethics Chairman David Skaggs. The House of Representatives must urgently investigate and resolve the serious allegations of wrongdoing by Rep. Omar. We encourage Americans to share their views on Rep. Omar's apparent misconduct with their congressman. Now, let's jump down, and I want to get to the most important part, which is the perjury part. They say Omar married Elmi in 2009, before she had divorced her first husband. The report reveals that Elmi is actually her biological brother. I don't know if it doesn't actually reveal that. The two divorced in 2017, but Omar claimed she had not seen him since June 2011. However, take a look at this photo. Photo evidence, however, suggests Omar may have perjured herself by signing a document claiming she had not seen Elmi. Instagram evidence shows them in an image together in 2015. Apparently, they deleted the social media. And the hard thing for Star Tribune, which is actually investigating it, is that they can't publish this post. Someone could have taken an old photo and put it next to a new post. It's hard to know. Now, with these claims and this complaint, perhaps they could subpoena Instagram and see if any of that data still exists, which I would believe likely does. Okay, it's actually quite hard to delete things, but if they migrate servers, if they change data, data providers or data centers, then perhaps. Let's read on. In the document, the now Minnesota representative claimed she had not had contact with Elmi after June 2011 and did not know where to find him. By signing the document, Omar was swearing to the state that under penalty of perjury that everything I've stated in this document is true and correct. However, Steinberg, that's one of the investigators, Sam Sunder and Johnson's investigation revealed, with Instagram photo evidence, that Omar and Elmi had met up in London in 2015. The facts describe perhaps the most extensive spree of illegal misconduct committed by a House member in American history. Judicial Watch claims it's a nonpartisan educational foundation. I also want to stress it's not just that she met with him. Even if they didn't meet, even if that photo was fake, there's also contentions. It's also been contended that Ilhan Omar's sister works with her ex-husband. So when she says, I have no way to contact him, it's possible she's lying and that her sister does. Now, it's also possible her sister is lying to her and saying, I don't know where he is when she does, but that's really the long shot, okay? The simple solution here is we've got photos. Her sister worked with him in some capacity because apparently he used his Instagram account to create her account for her business, something to that effect. I could be getting it wrong. But there is circumstantial evidence to suggest she did perjure herself. Forget the marriage, forget the brother thing. We can look into that later. The perjury is a serious issue. They say, while speaking with reporters last week, Trump briefly talked about the report on Omar, which brought more attention to the alleged crimes and the fact that the progressive representative likely married her brother. But this was in response to a question. Trump didn't bring it up, and he even said, I know nothing about it. Someone asked Trump, will there be an investigation into whether or not Omar married her brother? And Trump said, there's a lot of talk about the fact she was married to her brother. I know nothing about it. Trump said, I'm sure that somebody will be looking into that. He was just a passive comment. But sure enough, that question to the president followed by his response, it's going to trigger a wave. More investigation, more reports, more scrutiny, and now it's mainstream. Now everyone's talking about it. So they go on. We got a bunch of photos, sure. Trump has been at odds with Omar. We know the stuff. We know about the tweets. I don't want to get into that. They're called the Squad, and that's basically it. They end by saying, of the four in the Squad, only Omar was born outside of the U.S., Ocasio-Cortez is of Puerto Rican descent, Tlaib's parents are Palestinian immigrants, and Presley is African-American. But Ilhan Omar did come here at a young age, and so the question is, it would be really interesting to find out. Now, there's some allegations that Ilhan Omar's real name is Ilhan Nursaid Elmi. Look, I know that there's a lot of investigations going into this, but there are some documents published. But getting documents from Somalia will be very difficult, if they exist at all. And more importantly, I guess, in a sense, to the defense of Ilhan Omar, when it comes to refugee status, when it comes to people fleeing war, getting accurate documents, it's damn near impossible. And so, here's what I can say. Perhaps they're not related, right? As it was pointed out by, I believe, a journalist pointed this out. I don't want to say their name. It's possible they were raised by the same man. It doesn't mean they're biologically related. But if that were true, it still sounds like immigration fraud. Because she was culturally married to this other guy. She claims they divorced in their faith tradition and then she married him. But there's just too much here. There's too much here, I think, for us to act like it's nothing. It may be overblown. It may be blown out of proportion on the right wing side, but it does seem like perjury is feasible and warrant. How do you investigate perjury? Like, at what point do you say there's enough here? To me, I think there is. But I'm curious because we see this all the time with politicians, corrupt behavior, and we're always wondering why nothing ever gets done. Okay, listen. I don't care for the partisanship. Hillary Clinton deleted public record. Period. We know she did. Why is there no charge? Why is that? To fine her $50, please. Okay? Why is it that when these people break the law, there's never an investigation? Or if there is, nothing happens. I don't know. But I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment will be coming up at 4 p.m. YouTube.com/Timcast. It is a different channel. I will see you all then.